Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Step Chat. For those of you that I have not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Stephen Jones. I am the executive director of Float and of Aloft Streaming, of Fulcrum, several other projects, and one we haven't even talked about yet. And hi, welcome. Good to see you all. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule, no matter when you're watching, to tune in. Whether you're watching here live with us on Facebook or whether you're watching on the replay on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much for joining us. Really do appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Thank you all once again for choosing to spend some time with me here in the Floativerse as we talk about all the different things that are going on as we get ready for Reno and as we get ready for classes and we get ready for all kinds of stuff. So there we go. Tonight is officially episode 275 of the show. It is another milestone episode. So we have now had 275 episodes of Step Chat. I'm very happy about that. So again, I get one more reason why I am so thankful to have all of you supporting my efforts with this show all these years. So thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Really appreciate your support. This week is actually not even talking about my trip to Reno. This week is actually a very, very busy week here in the Floativerse. So tonight I want to take this opportunity to start the show by updating you on the various elements that you need to be looking out for or paying attention to this week. Okay. We start off with tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Pacific time. That is 9 a.m. Eastern time and whatever the hell time it is where you are. The official invitation for our next live class for Aloft is scheduled for Tuesday. Your invitation, your login information will be going out on the morning of August 4th, which is tomorrow at 6 a.m. Pacific time. It's another edition of our friend with Pia Guadalupe, La Familia Float. This week, she's going to be interviewing Float instructor Supreme Arturo Castro. Pia is going to be interviewing him tomorrow night live. So again, that'll be done 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and whatever the hell time it is where you are. That's going to be taking place here on Facebook and on Pia's Instagram. Then on Tuesday, it is the first Tuesday of the month, which means that it is time once again for our international episode of Kicking Back with Lisa Mack. The show is aired significantly earlier in the day. The show will take place at 1 p.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. Pacific time. I think this is one of the greatest things. Lisa has done this because a lot of international folks that like to join Lisa's call can't do it normally because the call is at, 3 o'clock in the morning for them. So this way, Lisa can host the show at a more reasonable hour. So folks from all over Europe and all over South America and all over the place can join us live on the call. Lisa McIntyre hosts a weekly virtual happy hour. And basically it's done through Zoom. And she goes just like this show here. It broadcasts live on the Float page. If you want to join the call yourself, you can be an active caller on there. And if, by the way, if you're new to Float and you want to meet some people, this is a great way to do it. And then once Lisa's class is over, bam. For you Aloft members, we've got our virtual class of the month with Dawn Gertman herself. Inflation plus floral equals fabulous with Dawn. Yes, that class is going to be taking place on Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Pacific time. Say it with me. That's right. Whatever hell time it is where you are. Dawn's class is Dawn is an expert at combining florals and balloons. She's going to be showing you the basics of that in this class coming up on Tuesday. Very excited about it. If you are not a Loft member, you can do one of two things. You can either join Aloft between now and then, which is great, and we'd love to have you. It's $80 for 6 months of access or $120 for the year. You can join Aloft at floatconvention.com/aloft. Or if you don't want to join Aloft, if you're kind of the non-committal type, you can pay $25 and get live access to the class through floatconvention.com/orange store. That's orange like the color, store like the retail. And then on top of that, not only do you get live access to the class, but you also get a free digital download of the class when it's finished. Well, this past week saw the end of our payment plan program. But starting on Friday, a brand new promotion started, and that is you can save $50 off your float registration with our favorite faculty contest. Those individuals all have a coupon code worth $50 off the registration to float. Working alphabetically, folks. First up is Zoe Adam Jones out of Australia, presented by our friends at Globos Payaso. If you want to support Zoe in this contest, use the coupon code Zoe, ZOE. Andrea Camacho, courtesy of our friends at Calasan out of Virginia. If you use the coupon code Camacho, CAMACHO, you will save $50 off the price of float. Arturo Castro, we mentioned him earlier, joining Pia Guadalupe tomorrow night. If you'd like to support Arturo in the contest, use the coupon code Arturo, ARTURO. Sally Clackett, Laura Slater, and Meg Robertson, also known as Bubblegum Balloons out of the UK. If you'd like to support them in the contest, use the coupon code Bubblegum, all one word. I'm sure you can understand why we didn't use somebody's name. Much easier this way. Out of Southern California, Jessica Cruz Torres, presented by our friends at Joker Party Supply. If you want to support Jessica in the contest, enter the name Jessica and save $50 off your registration. Oswaldo Dorado, the Wonder Kid out of Mexico. If you'd like to support Oswaldo, presented by our friends at Globos Payaso, use his name, Oswaldo, OSWALDO. A very popular instructor at float coming back once again, Eduardo Flores out of Mexico, presented by our friends at Novedades Pema. Use the coupon code Eduardo, EDUARDO. A brand new instructor coming to float, Didi Forgioni out of Boston with Balloonacy Boston. If you'd like to support Didi, who's being presented by our friends at Deco Champ, use the coupon code Didi, DEDE. Another first-time instructor at float, Melissa Fox out of St. Louis, Missouri, presented by our friends at Batalic. This one's easy. Just type the word in Fox. Brian Getz out of Indianapolis, Indiana. If you, again, also supported by our friends at Batalic. If you'd like to support Brian in the contest, type in his last name, Getz, Getz. Our virtual class instructor is also teaching at float this year, Dawn Gertman, presented by our friends at Decomex. If you'd like to support Dawn in her efforts, use the coupon code DAWN, DAWN, and you'll save $50 off your registration to float. Another Southern Californian coming to float, presented by our friends at Gemar, the wild and local Leslie Hicks. She'll be joining us, and if you want to support Leslie, use the coupon code Leslie, LESLIE. Another Southern Californian coming to float, Mary Hokikian, supported by our friends at Elatex. If you want to support Mary in the contest, type in the code Mary, which is MERI, not the common spelling, her spelling. Another popular instructor coming back to float again, Lily Jimenez, teaching one of our foundation classes this year. If you'd like to support Lily in the contest presented by Creative Heart Studio, use the coupon code Lily with 3 L's, LILLY. Amanda Mahoney, the better half of that dynamic duo, teaching for the first time solo at float, presented by our friends at Anagram. Use the code word Amanda, AMANDA, and save $50 off your registration to the convention. Sarah Meyer of the Bright Balloon Podcast and Wisconsin Balloon Decor, presented by our friends at Having a Party. If you want to support Sarah in the contest, use her name, Sarah, no H, SARA. Tabitha Miller. There we go. Big award winner from last convention. Big award winner, this time presented by our friends at Batalic. Tabitha's code word, Tabitha, TABITHA. Alyssa Murray Lane floats Designer of the Year in 2026, presented by our friends at Fanfare. If you'd like to save $50 off your registration and support Alyssa in the contest, use the code Alyssa, ALISSA. Andrea Papolino out of Italy. Use the coupon code PAPOART. So it's PAPOART. If you want to support Andrea in his campaign to win the contest, use his code presented by our friends at Primo. Jenny Porter out of Canada, presented by our friends at Tough Tex, always a popular favorite. If you'd like to support Jenny in this contest, use the coupon code Jenny, JENNY, and you'll save $50 off. Out of Florida, Noelle Romero, teaching one of our general classes and one of our foundation classes at Float, presented by our friends at High Float. If you'd like to support Noelle in the contest, use Noelle's name, Noeli. Another tag team, Ariel Rush and Ray Walsh, both out of Texas, both being presented by our friends at All American Balloons. That's why we went with AAB as their coupon code. Jill Shortreed, presented by our friends at Anagram. Given that she is now the educational director for Anagram, I'm not surprised. Want to support Jill in the contest? Type in the word Jill, Jill. Brianna Silvio, who has apparently gotten to bribing people with friendship bracelets. Folks, if you want to support Brianna in the contest, sign up today using the code Brianna, BRIANA. Another husband and wife combination, Nikki Scrobot and Thomas Dorsher of Rock and Robot Party Company, presented by our friends at Tough Tex. If you'd like to support them in the contest, use the word robot, ROBOT. Okay, that'll give them points. You'll save $50, and everyone in that department will be happy. Alexander Solomatin, coming on behalf of our friends at Gemar USA. If you want to support Alexander in the contest, use the coupon code Alexander, AELXANDER. Jesus Tejada, being presented at Float by our friends at Cool Party Balloons. If you want to use and support Jesus in the contest, use his coupon code Jesus, JESUS. I know some of you might be asking, it's a contest. Wait a minute, wait. So what do they win? The two domestically based instructors, that means live in the US, and the one international instructor who gets the most registrations in their name by August 30th gets to hand select when their classes are taught at Float. This coupon code only applies to the academic registration for US domestic attendees. So it only applies to the $695 price point. Once again, we do want to remind everybody that sponsorships are now available for Float. We are very excited about that. I want to update you about a comment that I made last week here on the show, and that was about the Monday soiree. We announced that last week that our original plan for the Monday soiree taking place in the nightclub at Grand Sierra Resort has had to change because the nightclub is slated for demolition. If you recall correctly, last week I made a statement that if nobody, because of the fact that this was originally slated to be in the nightclub, okay, because it was slated to be in the nightclub, we were offering up room decor because there was no stage. You would just get everything. You would get everything in the room except for whatever entrance decor is flowing into the room. And I said that if nobody buys that this week, then tonight it's gone, and now I'm splitting up into stage and room accent decor. Until we had made a decision as to where this event was going to go in the venue, I felt that it wasn't fair. Because in one venue, the stage could be one size, and in the other venue, we know it's going to be 16 by 24. So we decided that the smart thing to do would be to belay that statement, and we're going to roll it for 2 weeks. So that gives you 2 more weeks to buy the total decor package for the Monday soiree, not including the entrance, as opposed to splitting it up and dividing it into other things. Let's give you an update about Float's website. It's still, to be honest with you, it's still quite backed up. But the good news is a lot of content has been presented and sent off. The classes have been updated. I'm just waiting for them to post them. The new vendor showcase has been updated. It's just waiting to be posted. There's quite a bit of other things too. It was brought to my attention just recently that the schedule, it's an old schedule. The Thursday is not even on the schedule. That has been updated. I'm just waiting for it to get posted. I do have an update for you about our vendor showcase coming to Float. We actually picked up several new vendors this week. Problem is, I'm still waiting on information from two of them, so I can only brag about one of them tonight. So, folks, let's give it up to Babaloon out of Las Vegas, Nevada, a new distributor coming to Float. They carry multiple brands of product, and they are looking to become one of your new providers of wholesale balloons for you and your business. All right, let's take a break from Reno for a while, folks. Let's talk about Aloft. We talked about this earlier, our 24-hour streaming service. We already know that Dawn is teaching on Tuesday, but 2 weeks from Tuesday, I want to remind everybody that Jessimar Claro will be teaching our next class on August 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time. That's right, whatever the hell time it is where you are. Jesse's going to teach you about creating video content and how to actually use that content to convert people into customers. So that's going to be going on. And again, just like before, if you're not a member of Aloft, you can either join Aloft before then, or you can sign up individually for the class at $25. It includes live access to the class, and it includes a digital download when the class is over. New episode of the Rubber Bubble Podcast dropping this week in the Aloft streaming program. For those of you unfamiliar, the Rubber Bubble Podcast is hosted by yours truly. It is an exclusive benefit only for Aloft members. And the next episode, episode 25, will be airing this coming week. All right, let's get to more of our street level Floativerse content for you here, starting off with our Sunday Step Chat survey. This one actually came to me last week when I composed last week's question, and I thought, wow, this would be a really interesting question to ask. I was curious to know what percentage of your balloons do you buy off of Amazon and similar, say, non-traditional sources? At the time of this recording, at the time of this screenshot, 87% of you admit to purchasing less than 10% of your inventory through Amazon. And I won't lie to you, I'm in that same category. So I do want to take this opportunity to thank everybody who took the time to fill in the survey. If you are registered for Float 2022, I want to remind you that you are eligible to join the Float Forum. This is an exclusive Facebook group dedicated just to people who are registered to attend as academic and foundational only attendees of the convention. We don't allow vendors in this group. We don't allow sponsors in this group. We do not want this group to be influenced one way or the other by individuals whose opinions might be skewed based upon their own financial merit. I do want to take another moment to remind everybody that if you are looking for a roommate for the convention, we have a link in the Float Facebook group. It's pinned to the top of the page. You can leave comments there and communicate with people and try to find yourself a roommate at the convention. As a reminder, Float has its own YouTube channel at youtube.com/@thefloativerse. We encourage everyone there, if you're active on YouTube, to please subscribe to our channel, like our content, share our content. That helps push it. Step chat schedule for this week, because remember, I am leaving for Reno on Wednesday morning. So yes, obviously we're doing the live broadcast tonight here on Facebook. Tomorrow, the full episode 275, will be uploaded to the YouTube channel. And then the summary edition, which is the shortened abbreviated version, that will be uploaded to YouTube on Tuesday. Fit for Float. For those of you that are looking to drop some weight between now and the convention, join Lisa McIntyre in this special Facebook group, Fit for Float. She hosts Weigh-In Wednesdays, which I admit I've been bad about. And lately, I've not been very good about my entire program. So I'm looking to get right back on it again and get more serious. Of course, Wednesday is going to blow my trip is going to blow my current weight gain process or weight loss process. But I am going to be monitoring it nonetheless. So look for Fit for Float on Facebook and consider joining the group. And finally, next week, next step chat on Sunday, August 10th, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be featuring a very special guest live with me on the show. And no, I don't mean Murphy. So be sure to tune in next Sunday night. That's going to be at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and whatever the hell time it is where you are. And folks, that will do it for tonight's episode of Step Chat. Again, I do want to remind everybody that if you have any questions you'd like me to research for you with regard to Reno, get them in the chat. Get them in the chat. Joette, Steve, the other question for the vendor room is the ability to use click magnets booth. No, we cannot do it. I've seen conflicting info. One said we could hang anything on our own. The other said we could use magnets. So, or we cannot hang anything on our own. In classrooms, in decor spaces, you can use click magnets as long as it sticks, right? As long as it serves. Vendor showcase cannot. The ceilings are too tall. And the only way you can reach the ceilings in that space is on a ladder, which they've made very clear they will not allow. So if you want a rig point, it is something we will have to look into securing with the AV company in-house. That fee is going to run roughly $700. However, it is not, we're not looking that, we're going to divide it up amongst the number of people that need rig points in the room. So in other words, if you decide that you need a rig point at 10 feet or whatever, 10 feet above your booth or whatever it is that you need, if it turns out there's 6 other people, then that $700 fee would be divided up among 600 people. It also means that if you are the only person, then you're looking at the $700 fee because it's $75 an hour. Is that right? Might be $750. I don't remember. It's $75 an hour with a 5-hour minimum. But the 5-hour minimum is each time. So if it takes them 15 minutes to rig the line on the ceiling, we still have to pay a rigger for 5 hours. Okay. They don't do it by individual hours. Then, of course, when it's time to take it down, that's a completely different setup. So there's that. So unfortunately, yeah. So the vendor showcase, no, you can't use click magnets. So what I would consider doing is coming up, if I would have a backup plan, is what I would say. If you want something rigged overhead, I would come up with a backup plan as to how you could possibly do it. I'll plan on working from the ground only. Okay, thanks. All right, very good. So yeah, there's that. But like I said, you can always put it in and say, hey, I'd like this. If it turns out, like I said, if 10 other people want rigging points too, then it's a non-issue. So there's that. So the other thing too that I need clarification on when I go there, especially for vendors that are in the that have island packages that you're kind of like all by yourself at a 20 by 20 and a walkway completely around you. I believe they are dropping the power from the ceiling. I can't remember if they're dropping it or if it's in the floor. But I'm almost positive that they are dropping it from the ceiling. So there's a hello, Sarah. Good to see you. Oh, Sarah, I speaking of which, Sarah, one of our wonderful ambassadors at Float. I need to follow up with you and the other ambassadors. So there's that about registration stuff. So there you go. Okay. So yes, if you guys have questions, remember pertaining to Reno that you'd like me to ask when I'm there next week, this coming week, please throw them in the chat. If I already know the answer, I'm happy to answer it. If I don't know, I'm going to get it written down. We're going to go from there. We've already got one tonight that I'm going to check on, which is the high tops versus. Can you hear all this? This is him with a ball. He's really jonesing for the yard. So there's that. Okay. So I'm going to hang out for a couple more minutes to see if there's any more questions that you guys have. Wish me luck on my trip on Wednesday because I don't have a real ID yet. I'm quite angry. Um, I went in last week to get my real ID because they said that the wait has gotten tremendously shorter and that the turnaround on real IDs has gotten much faster. No big deal. My passport was stolen some time ago and I never got around to getting a new one. And because Washington State allows non citizens to get driver's licenses, that's the whole reason why you have to get the real ID now, because Washington State and 2 other states issue driver's licenses to people who are not US citizens. So Linda asked a question. Steve, I was trying to pay for my room with Chase points and the hotel said no. Any chance that person was wrong? I don't know anything about that. You are going to, the question is, it's possible that they were not wrong because you're supposed to be using the link. I don't know how any of that works. My presumption is that because our hotel room rate is discounted, the hotel's not going to accept points of other natures. I don't know how that works. So I'm presuming that that would be it. I will certainly write this down and find out. I'll get an answer from somebody there when I'm there because I'll just go talk to somebody in accounting or whatever and find out what's going on, or reservations and find out what's up with that. But I would argue that that's an issue. Hannah True, it's my understanding that Chase points must be used in the Chase travel portal, which makes sense. You can transfer to travel partners, but the hotel is not a travel partner. Okay, well then that makes sense too, or transfer partner. That makes sense. Joette, have you sent the vendors the link for the hotel to reserve the room? Yes, absolutely. Vendors were sent that some time ago. Haven't sent it recently. The link is in it was in the vendor email that went out. But you know what? I do have another one. I need to send out another one anyway. See if I can get that sent out this week. Thank you all for being here. Be busy, be profitable, be happy, be safe, be healthy, and be good. See you next time.